Looks like we have Brian on. Welcome, Brian.
Hey, Brian.
Brian, we're just giving it a few minutes to.
How y'all doing?
Good, man. How you
How are
doing?
you?
All right. Kevin, I'm up your way up in the Northeast.
Oh, where you at?
I'm in Brockton.
Brockton. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not far at all. You, you're up visiting or
Yeah,
doing some
my
work?
my in-laws up here.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. I'll probably be heading out down that way in the after this meeting actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'll probably be heading down to Boston.
Oh, Boston. You got
Yeah,
some things to look at there.
yeah. I got some work to do there, so I'm gonna try to get it knocked out. Everything seems to start coming in once holidays are just getting through. Everything starts to pile in.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting ready to spin up for New Year's.
Yeah,
Please, that's only. We'll stop, Dad.
yeah, Brian. We're gonna give it a few more minutes, and then we'll get started here. I just want to see if a few more people should be coming up.
The whole chat group either.
Oh, in the chat group.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. I'm gonna see if I can reach out to Eliza to see if we'll be able to get that worked out for you to get you on there.
I'll look in there right now, Kevin, see if I can see him.
Oh, okay.
All right,
Okay.
we'll get it figured out. We were
Okay.
having trouble with that, before the end of the year, getting people signed up in there. I think we hit our limit, and then it kind of just messed up everything. So I've got a lot of people in there, but they're not active right now, and I've removed them to free up space for active members coming in. And yeah, I just don't see it. We're gonna come the new year. We're gonna revamp and start hitting that hard, getting a lot of people back into the best chat.
Gotcha.
You're picking up some work there, Brian, lately?
No, I haven't done anything.
Okay.
Yeah. I last time, like the last meeting that I had, they said they were getting into Tennessee in this area. But there was nothing here.
Okay, should be some stuff coming up soon, especially after the new year. Should be some stuff picking up, definitely.
Are you you're not live streaming this on your channel right now, are you, Kevin?
No,
Okay.
not this one. I was gonna wait just to kind of see how this went through with participation and stuff like that, and people with questions and stuff. And I figured, maybe later in the future we could do some of that, but trying to keep it pretty much on the Donastar site.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, if we do it next time, do it out on your YouTube channel because it'll send notifications out to everyone.
Yeah, yeah,
When you start going live.
right, right. That's a good idea.
Because I'm sure a lot of people are like, yeah, I'm going to get on there and then forgot.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I
I
mean?
sent, I know I sent out a lot of notifications the last couple of days just to kind of keep up with it. And
Yeah.
but then again, I didn't see a lot of the acceptance come through. So I just kind of wanted to see how it will go this one, and then
Yeah,
but
no
that's
worries.
a good idea. Try and stream it through the channel next time.
Yeah, or dual stream. I don't know if we can dual stream it, but or like
Yeah,
go through here to there or whatever.
yeah. I saw Andrew had came on, and then he had clicked out.
Yeah.
But
Well, Brian,
hey,
what questions you got for us?
I mean, I'm all ears, so I was just hoping to just hear the conversation and be on a fly on the wall. So
Yeah.
I
I
still
hear
got
you.
a whole lot to learn.
I hear you. I hear you. Well,
So
I had a few questions that some viewers on the channel had have been sending through over the past couple of months.
Mhm.
So I have some of those questions that I'll kind of do like a little interview with Patrick, and then we'll go through. As you know, Brian, if anyone else jumps on, we'll just invite them in, and then we'll go from there. But Patrick is the director of service network with Donastar. I'm the service and inventory manager of the Northeast with Donastar as well. And I thought it would be a good thing to put together this question and answer for people that are interested in getting involved with Donastar. And a lot of them had questions, and a lot of times it helps to be able to. Hi there. What's your son's name?
you can tell them your name. What's your name?
Tired.
Caius.
Nice
Caius.
to meet you,
Nice
Caius.
to meet you, Caius. Nice
They're
to meet you.
they're this like their first time really seeing snow, so
Oh, cool.
they
Nice.
dying to get
Cool.
outside.
They're ready. They're ready to go sledding. They want to hit some hills.
Yeah. Hopefully I ain't not trying to interrupt your meetings, but
No,
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 you're
you're
good,
good.
man.
You're good, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'll just get into a few of the questions that I saw that came up that seemed pretty interesting. The first one, Pat, was someone that asked, like, what qualities do you believe make a technician stand out in today's commercial equipment industry?
Hmm. Um, One of the biggest ones I would say is the ability to be resourceful. You might not have all the answers, especially when you're on site in front of equipment. But knowing where to find the answers or someone to reach out to that can guide you in, completing that task, whatever that service may be. That's one of the biggest ones. Being resourceful will definitely lead a technician to be able to really be independent, a self thinker, and be able to move on their toes when problems arise in front of a machine, because you could be there for one service, a valve's out, but then something's up with the carbonation. Well, now you need to be able to switch gears and go and fix that carbonator before we actually, complete that service and make sure the ratios are good on the valves and everything's pouring properly. So that resourcefulness, that forward thinking and taking that initiative is really some good traits for a new technician to have, and senior technicians, they need that as well.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true.
I've had the pleasure of working with you on job sites where we've had to think on our toes
A big time.
and figure it out,
Yeah,
yeah,
big time.
definitely.
That's always the challenge, because with any call, you always have that element of surprise that comes up, and you got to make a decision on how to go about fixing it, or what you're going to need to fix it, or if you're going to have to make a return trip, what's going to be needed for that. So that's definitely a big thing, is technicians being able to be flexible and think out the box too, at times.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Another question was, what skill sets do you believe new technicians should focus on? Should they be focusing on, like, right now, if they're planning to get into the business, or if they're switching over from like residential to commercial, and they're looking to get into it?
Definitely for like soda, the fundamentals, any beverage system, you want to focus on the fundamentals of what makes that system work. So you have really your three components. You have your water, your syrup, and your air, your CO2. Understanding how those three systems work separately from each other, so that you gather the understanding of the system itself, and then bring them together to understand how they should work as one unit. That would be, the first things as a new technician that I would want to understand. Because if you understand those three basic systems, how they work and how they work together, then going to a job site, you're already 90% ahead of the curve. You understand how those systems work. And really, minus a refrigeration system, a soda machine is the same thing as like a frozen beverage dispenser. It's just not freezing, soda machine is not freezing down that product to where it gets frosty and slushy. So understanding those three basic, those three systems and the way they operate together would be my fundamentals of a starting point for a new technician.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. And another thing that I talk to a lot of technicians about, just through conversation or phone fixes or something like that, if I'm helping someone out, a lot of it is slowing down. A lot of times technicians, you get that anxiety going, especially if it's late, or or you got a ton of calls coming in, and you're rushing through the job. A lot of times that leads to mistakes. So a lot of it is just taking that time to step back, look at the situation, take your time. Don't rush. Don't rush it.
Don't look at the clock. When you look at the clock, you're like, oh man, I'm going to be here for another 2 hours. Well, if you keep doing that, you're going to be there for 4 hours, because that time's going to drag on. You're going to mess something up. You're going to try and speed through a process, and you're going to miss a vital step, which is going to set you back. So taking the time, slowing down, not worrying about the clock and what it's going to take, and getting that customer up and running.
That's the most important thing. If you can get them up and running, and get through it like that. I mean, there's so many times that we've run into it. Me and you ran into it, Patrick, on jobs, and when we were together, or even when we were separate. It's things that you run into. If you're on a job site, the soda soda and ice is up and running, your Slurpee's up and running, but then bam, your tea machine goes down, and then
Mhm.
you got a major leak coming from somewhere, and you gotta figure that out and take care of it. So that
Yep.
is that is a big thing, and a real big thing is being flexible, man.
Mhm.
So speaking of that, like someone asked, what is the biggest challenge service teams face right now, and how is Donastar addressing it?
Hmm. I think service teams, like you said, they're going too fast a lot of times, or they think that they know the problem before getting there and diagnosing the equipment. So they get there and they have this mindset that they already know what the problem is, so they're going to fix it, and that may just be a surface problem. That may be just a byproduct of the actual problem that's happening, and they fix it, and then the problem continues to persist um, because it's deeper in the system somewhere. And so say for instance, like carbonated water, we're not getting good carbonated water to the valve, right? Well, there's a whole slew of issues that could be there, and you may get the carbonated fill and then run a cycle, and you may have carbonated water thinking you're good, but really your CO2 pressure is way too high, and you might be overfilling that carbonator tank and not having an adequate amount of water to fill up that tank, or it could be too low. You could have a leak, so there could be other problems there. It could be your flow rate. Your flow rate with a valve could make that soda really foamy. If it's too high of a speed, you want to be able to slow that flow rate down. So there's a slew of problems, and I think technicians get so, because we do a lot of time on the road and we're going to that service call, we get it in our minds, we start thinking, what could it be? What could it be? And then we get an idea in our head what it is. Once we get there, we don't do a full diagnosis. We just, we go to the problem and we say, okay, I think I could fix this. And then more problems persist, or even worse, you leave, you drive an hour back home and the site reports the same problem again an hour later. And you're like, oh man, now you're chewing up hours in your day, you're chewing up profit. So it goes back to taking your time, slowing down, and don't get those preconceived notions in your head of what the problem may be before you actually get there and diagnose it fully.
Yeah, true indeed. That's true. That's something that I really love to stress to newer technicians, and also even some experienced technicians. They a lot of them are tired. They're ready to just call it a day or whatever, and it's part of the job, man. It's like you want to if you have an issue with an ice maker. A lot of times, technicians will go out there and they'll find something wrong with maybe the inlet valve, and then they'll change out the inlet valve. But then again, the cold plate is not really letting the ice knock off completely. So it's getting a little pieces of ice built up on the cold plate. And then it's sticking. So then you end up with a buildup of ice on that grid, and then over time it's gonna get stuck again. So then you have a repeat call. So a lot of times I always stress that if you're on a job site, try to stay there until that thing cycles 2 or 3 times. At least if it's cycling a good three cycles, and you have a clean harvest cycle where it drops and everything drops off, then you're looking good. But you might need to take some extra time to go ahead and run some cleaner through that system, and or you might have to return and do a full ice maker PM and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
other than that, take that time to ensure that that equipment is operating before you leave. Uh, give it a good two or three tries.
And I think,
So can I ask a
yeah,
question on that?
yeah, what's up?
Sure.
So again, I'm coming from the residential side where, you know, hour you're in and out for the most part, depending on what you're doing. It sounds like these jobs, because if you're going to be thorough, they're going to take a little bit more time.
True.
Yeah, they can.
They can.
Okay.
They can. Brian, depending on what you're running into, because I mean, there's a lot of times in the commercial field you can be in and out in an hour, depending on what the issue is. But for the most part, I've seen technicians rush into a store, get there at 2 o'clock, be out of there at 2:30. Because they had an idea that maybe it's a dispense valve. And then they go in, they see the dispense valve. They don't really go into finding out why the valve failed. They just go ahead and switch out the valve, and then they're out of there. And then later on, they'll get a call maybe an hour later, saying that the machine's not dispensing on that flavor, because they didn't check the valve to make sure it was working, stuff like that. So I mean, a lot of times there's some that really are gonna stretch the limit for you. They're really gonna push you to that point where you're there for hours trying to figure it out.
Mhm.
Especially if it's like an install job. You want to make sure every aspect of that job is perfect, as close to perfect as you can get it, because
Mhm.
it's a new install, so it's new equipment for one thing. And there's another thing that happens. Sometimes they'll say a new install, but you'll get refurbished equipment. So think times like that, you need to take that extra time to be sure there's nothing wrong with that equipment that you could have missed because it was refurbished. So there could be loose valves, there could be
Loose wires.
loose wires, valves with no seals on them, and so
Mhm.
then you have leaks, so um things like that. Things like that are like, you know, things that you could key on, and then again, it's dependent on what you're, on what aspect of it you're working on. If it's a reactive call, a lot of times you can be in and out in an hour,
Mhm.
and everything's fine, and then as you grow with it, you get more familiar with a lot of things. I mean, now you can call me about a Turbo Chef oven or something like that. It's not a beverage, but you could call me with like a Turbo Chef oven. I can ask you what the sound is like, what it sounds like, and if you tell me that it's doing this or that, I can tell you what's wrong with it by the sound that you're explaining to me. You know what I mean? So there's certain things that you're gonna catch. You're gonna get that feeling of it. You're gonna get that feeling on what's going on with this valve, or should I just replace the coil on the dispense valve, or should I just replace the whole valve? You know, Sometimes you can have a leak on a valve, and these valves are made of plastic now. So a lot of times you can have a cracked valve body, and the leak is coming from the cracked valve body, and you can't see it. It's just like a hairline crack, but
Mhm.
it's just leaking right out of there. And if you just go and you think like, oh, maybe it's just the coil, and you replace the coil, and you still got a leak, then those are times where you start learning. Okay, let me look at the valve body, make sure It's nothing that's coming out of the valve body or stuff like that. It's kind of like that kind of thing that you're gonna get used to looking into before you head out, especially with
But
soda equipment.
but at the same time, the driving distance is a lot more with commercial too, from what I'm understanding. Like right now, I do a 40-mile, 50-mile radius from my area. So you're going to be driving maybe an hour, hour and a half, whatever it may be. Um,
Easily.
you
Yeah.
you don't want that call back.
Right.
No, not at all. Yeah, you want to
So
get
you
it
might as
done
well
first
spend the
job.
time.
That's why you want
Yeah.
to. That's why you want to spend the time, because
Okay.
things like that, you could be hours away from a
Yeah.
site. 2 or 3 states sometimes.
Yeah.
It depends. But for me, if I'm out far, man, I'm there. I'll be there all night to make sure that thing's working, so
Mhm.
that I'm not the one that has to go back. Or I
Yep.
don't want anyone to have to go back if I can avoid it. But if there's something where I know this is and the customer will tell you, Brian, don't even worry when you talk to the manager or whatever. They're gonna tell you this is an ongoing issue. They're gonna say, there's been 7 technicians out here, and and it's always the same problem after a week or after a day that they leave. Then this happens again. So they're gonna let you know. A real good thing to do is just let them do the talking. Let them do the talking and listen to the customer, because they're going to let you know just in little things that they're saying. They're going to let you know what's happening. It's like if I had a customer tell me that every time that they change the bib, that this happens, or they're not getting any syrup or anything like that, and it happened to be just by listening to her, I was able to go to the back room with her and look at the bib connectors, and I noticed that they weren't closing the bib connectors fully, so they weren't getting that push in to make sure that bib connector was flush. So that's what will create air to get into the line, and then that's not a good connection, so it's not going to push syrup very well. So then they always running into a problem, and it turned out that they were having problems with connecting their bib connectors, the QCD connectors. So I suggested that we switch them to the green Pepsi connectors, because they're just twist on, and you can interchange those. So it kind of makes it easier for them to get it on and take them off when they want to change a bib out, rather than the QCD connectors, which are the more popular ones right now with beverage equipment. But just by listening to her, I was able to figure out, okay, this was the problem that you're having. Every time you connect, it's not fully connected, so then it's not going to pull all of the syrup, so things like that, and it's good to let them talk and let them vent and get it out, and then that way you kind of you're getting a good explanation on what's going on.
Yeah, that's good for your notes at the end. You get a lot of information from listening. And I want to go back to that second part of that question, Kevin. I think
Sure.
you just kind of just gave it away. How do we help our technicians in the field? And it's just that, being able to provide guidance over the phone remotely to technicians that run into problems. It's a good thing too. It slows you down when you call someone up, talk to them. Hey man, I got this going on. I can't figure it out. Another set of eyes or ears on a problem definitely help out. It helps the technicians out, and I think that's really where Donastar is able to provide a lot of benefits to technicians across the nation.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. I just got a call now to call the technician up about an ice maker issue. So
Yeah.
it's always there, and it's with Donastar, it's always encouraged to give us a call.
Mhm.
Call if you can't call, text me. Let me know when you have time. I'll call you up, and then we can figure it out. And another thing is a lot of technicians. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like a thing where they get a bad vibe or something, but a lot of technicians really don't like calling tech support. Um, and I encourage them to call tech support if it's something that is that is that major. You can usually work it out through tech support. But I always advise them either to call Donastar, or if you're working on a certain machine, FBD, Lancer, Cornelius, you can always reach out to tech support, and they'll guide you through it. I know some technicians have had negative experiences with it, but I mean it's part of the game, man. It's just like just see what you can get out of it. If you don't, then you kind of keep a note of that tech support person that you spoke with,
Yeah.
so that you can kind of make another call and ask for somebody else. Sometimes
Yeah.
that's just how it is, but for the most part, you can always give us a call, because we have a lot of experience with Donastar, and we have a lot of resources through our channel, through our website. We have tons of manuals, service manuals, that we could send links to you on. If it's something simple, I'm trying to bricks a bar gun system. We can send you a link for that, and then you'll be able to go through it, and
Yeah.
we'll even go through it with you to
Yeah, I was gonna say that. We'll even read along with you and help you figure it out all the way.
yeah. So those are some good tips that I like to stress to the people that are planning to come on with Donastar, because not a lot of service companies offer that type of support.
Hmm.
So we pretty much went through. I only had like two more questions. One of them was, are there new are there any new equipment lines or partnerships that technicians should be preparing for?
When working with Donastar, I mean, there's always new equipment coming out. Krathco, FBD, bean to cup stuff. Sure, they always have new equipment coming out. Appliance innovation. They're getting ready to unroll a coffee system. But I think it comes back to the fundamentals again. Understanding those fundamentals of the systems really gives you a good footprint for all beverage systems. If you go to hot, obviously it's a little different. You're heating up the water there. But if you understand how the valves work, solenoids work, all that stuff, then it's getting into the new equipment. It's just really just reading through and getting it. Like I learn by looking and doing. So I look at schematics. I can look at the equipment. It's good if I can get my hands on it, play with it, and take it apart, put together. I'll really learn that way. But if you have the basic understandings, that foundation set, then the new equipment rolling out, you should just be able to start looking through. And when you get to specific problems, then you start pulling out specific things. You start learning different things like that. I don't know of too many, new equipment's coming out all the time. I'm not a sales guy, so I'm not, diving into their sales lineups and stuff like that. But when the new equipment comes out, yep, I'm going to get my hands on it and start learning it. I know some of our service partners like Roy Fetters, working with like Spaceman and different, beverage systems I haven't heard of yet. But he sends me pictures all the time, shows me the insides of it. I feel like I've worked on it already, because he sent me so much stuff. He shows me things. So just that visualness of seeing it, learning it, talking about the equipment, really helps out.
Yeah, it does. It does. And, a lot of it, as far as that question goes, a lot of the equipment, some of it you do get forewarned on, that it's coming. But a lot of it you don't. A lot of it is, it's already installed at a site, and this will be the first time you're working on it, um, or they'll put in a request for you to go and install it in a site. And a lot of times, if that happens, that's where that other part comes up, where you have to be flexible. Be flexible to learning new things on new equipment, and be willing to spend that time. But a lot of it has to do with patience, and that's one thing that I learned over the years is you got to be patient with yourself. You got to be patient with the process. It's all around. You got to be patient with the customers and with the manufacturers. A lot of times, it's I had one the other day. It was a brewer, Curtis coffee brewer, at a site, and I had already recommended that we replace. It had a fill error, so these Curtis, they use a fill probe. So usually most technicians are just change. They can just change out that probe, and then that's it. But a lot of times on those Curtis units, if that probe is acting up, there could be a further issue with the QCM, which is the control board. And that control board the probe is connected to the control board. It tells it when to fill and when to heat. When the water hits the probe, the bottom of the probe, it'll go into a heat mode. It'll start heating. Then they can't brew until it heats. And then once it heats up, then they are able to brew. But what was happening was I was on the line to get the part number for the QCM, the board, the probe, and the inlet valve, because the inlet valve had some wear and tear on it too. So I would rather replace all three of those because they all have to do with the brewing cycle of the unit. And the service tech support guy, he didn't agree with me on it. But luckily I was able to get them to send the parts. And I told them, I said, if it is just the probe, I'll send back the board and the inlet valve. And sure enough, I changed the probe. Fill error came right up again, and then I changed the inlet valve. Fill error came up again, even with the new inlet valve. And all of that is intertwined. And I called the guy back and I said, I was like, I'm gonna have to go ahead and use that QCM board, because it's the board. The board's not communicating. It's communicating enough to start filling, and then it times out, and then it just shuts off, goes into the fill error. So there's certain things like have these battles back and forth. It's just like, allow yourself to have patience with it all, because some of it can get nerve wracking, especially when you're in the middle of things and you want to try and get it done. So, and just with that example right there, that could have turned into going back and forth, and someone losing their temper on one end, and then you guys are on the phone and you're hanging up on each other or whatever. Just stuff like that happens, So I've learned over time, just be patient with yourself, and if it is necessary to move things to a higher level, then you might have to talk with a supervisor or something like that, just to try to get things done. But by all means, just follow your troubleshooting procedures, and that's a key thing. Follow those troubleshooting procedures. Call us up if you need to go through something step by step. We can always take that time to go through step by step with you, and clear some things up that might not be too clear. And then
Clear your mind up too.
Yeah. It gives you that time to, kind of bring yourself down, so that you can work on the task at hand. But yeah, that's a real big one, and it all takes time, man. That's the key. If people are in this field and they don't have patience with things, it may not be the field for them, especially on the commercial side. I worked residential briefly for a few years, but I've had good experiences with residential and bad ones. But for the most part, I enjoy the commercial side of it. I enjoyed the commercial side because of the technology, the work, the work that it takes, and it takes a lot doing this on the commercial side and residential side. But on the commercial side, there's a lot of very like detailed sections to going through troubleshooting procedures and checking the steps as you go, even with something as simple as bricksing. If you don't have the right bricks cup, or if you don't have the right bricks adapter, you're going to be there all day trying to
trying to figure it out. Yeah, and I want to say that patience, has to extend to your customers as well. If you're in a gas station, convenience store type situation, their customers don't know. They just want their soda, or they want their slushy, right? And you're working there, and they're going to come up to you, and they're going to be like, "Can I get some ice? Can I get some?" It's going to happen. So that patience has to extend to them as well when you're on site.
Big time. Yeah, big time. That's a real good point that you brought up, Brian. Because Brian, I know you worked residential, and you may have ran into it, but like on the commercial side, that is something that happens very often. You can have a machine apart. You can have all the valves off. You can have the ice chute.
Still be like, "Can I get some soda?"
The ice chute gone, like there's nothing there, and you'll still get people standing right behind your back with a cup, and then
waiting
for the soda. And it's like, hold on, the machine's down right now. I'm sorry. And then
can I ask another question? Oh,
sure.
on the what's a good one to start to learn on? I guess so. That's different field now, but What's the build basics I hear about?
Oh, we lost. I think he
Uh-oh.
was. I think he was saying, "What's the best machine to work or to start learning on?"
Yeah, just find some paperwork or some manuals on it just to start reading on and to actually maybe. And I know y'all got a lot of videos on.
Yeah, I would say like a basic, six, eight valve Cornelius and Lancer, one of each, because they operate the same, but they are different. There's intricacies to each one. But starting with a simple, the machine is just a case. The system itself is what you're really learning. So from the pump, from the bib to the pump, pushing that syrup to the valve and the valve opening and dispensing. Cornelius Lancer, they work the same way, but there are different intricacies to each one. Going back to Kevin, the Brixing, a Brixing nozzle. So for Cornelius, you have an S tube. For a Lancer, you have an actual device. You remove the nozzle and diffuser, and you twist it in there, and it has like a little off spout. So just understanding those intricacies about each system, the differences there. But both of those machines, basic Cornelius, basic Lancer, are the best ones to start learning on.
Okay, I get you.
Yeah, that's true. I would say for basics, check out the Lancer models, your Cornelius models. Those are all good, and just read through the manuals, checking out the operations, standard operations and procedures.
Mm-hmm.
The operation sequence of each machine. That's really going to help you, and a lot of the manuals will have steps for PMing the machine as well, and that's where I would say that's a real good start to be able to go through the steps of PM procedures and operating procedures of the soda machines, and what type of the model numbers. A lot of times the model numbers correspond with how much how big the ice bin is in that machine. How much ice it's going to hold. So knowing those basic things, man, that's going to be so much of a help, and especially the operating procedures of the machine. But Lancer and Cornelius would be real good ones to start with.
Yeah, just keeping it simple, keeping it on the basic models. Because once you learn those, so then you get to like a Lancer Bold 30 where it has, 24 valves inside for, syrup, and you're like, what is going on here? But then you realize each valve is the same thing that's inside a normal Lancer valve, just in half. You have you're just taking off your water solenoid for each valve. Now you have one water solenoid for that left side of the machine, one for the right side of the machine, and you have all your syrup valves that come to that, the left and right nozzle. So once you understand the fundamentals and the operations of a basic soda system, then the rest of them, you just can look at them and start analyzing it and understanding them better.
Yep. Yeah. It basically it all comes down to that. Those learning the procedures. I mean, even if you're on a site and you're going through your manual you can go through your manual on your phone and figure out how to do your bricks properly, or what type of adapter will I need for to bricks bar gun system or Cornelius, so a lot of them they have different adapters for them and stuff like that, but they will specify which ones those manufacturers use for that particular machine. So that's the best way to start, is getting the operating procedures down and following through on those manuals. And you should be able to find those manuals. Like Patrick said, we're going to work on getting you onto the best channel with your email and stuff. So once you're on there too, you'll see a whole lot of information coming through there too. We send a lot of stuff through those channels too, because all of our technicians are in and out of that site. So and our website that also carries a lot of information and resources for you on these different machines.
Mhm.
Okay.
So did you have anything else, Patrick, that you want to elaborate on before we head out? I got about 10 minutes.
No, I'm good. I mean, if Brian doesn't have any other questions, and if you don't have any other questions,
Yeah, no,
No,
I'm
this
good.
is good. I mean, for me, just hearing the conversation, like I say, these are good for somebody new.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you joined us, Brian, and
yeah, thanks for stopping by.
yeah, thanks a lot, man. We really appreciate it, and we want to wish you all a happy New Year, and
Same to you.
we should be ready to go at it once it's in action here.
Yeah.
Couple
Go
of days.
2026. Here we go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, guys. I appreciate you. Thank you.
All righty. Have a happy New Year. Good
Happy
seeing you,
New
Brian.
Year.
Good seeing you, Kevin.
Bye bye.
Bye.